The European season begins at Imola in Italy, or San Marino, whichever one you decide there, and it's a tricky circuit. Last season saw Jenson Button take the victory. He'll be hoping to do the same this season for FJR, and he does have a chance. The FJR was quite quick last time out in Malaysia, although Jenson did choose a rather unusual strategy, pitting early just the once. So this is qualifying for the San Marino Grand Prix in Italy. Such a strange combination, but it's a popular circuit, so it's staying on the FF1M calendar. We're looking at Adrian Sutil, who in the last race at Malaysia suffered a transmission failure, but he did qualify well and race quite well as well. So this is turn 1, 2 and 3, the Tambirello chicane. Quite quick for a chicane. It's also very narrow, and next 4 and 5 the Villeneuve chicane, that's quite narrow as well, and at the toes a hairpin. Popular area for the grandstands. Look at the people on the right hand side there. Now this is Piratella, where you brake slightly and get straight back on the throttle. There's a hesitation from Sutil, but now this is a tricky corner, Aqua Minerale. Double right-hander. The first one's almost flat, the second one you have to brake just after that corner, and this is the chicane, the Variante Alta, that causes so many problems in all of the races we come here. We often see first lap incidents there, so if you see a first lap incident in this time round, don't be surprised. The double left at Rivazza, nothing spectacular, it's a double 90, but it's a good place for overtaking. And then the final corner, well, this is kink, and then it's the final chicane, and it's Sutil crossing the line to do a 1 minute and 20.9. So at the moment he goes P1, but let's have a look at the pecking order. Usually when you see the first time laps, it's an indicator of what's to come on the grid. So Kobayashi went second, Senna third, so looking like a good lap time from Sutil. Perez will go fourth, just behind them. Webber goes fifth. So they're all lapping slow at the moment, but Glock, can he beat it? He can, by a tenth of a second, and instantly beaten by his world champion teammate Lewis Hamilton, who does a 1 minute 20.5. Rosberg goes third, and Paffett nowhere. So this is Trulli, one of only 4 men to have finished every race this season so far. Grosjean 5th, Alonso 6th, and Wemi's 2nd, but he's been held up by traffic, so expect him to go a little bit quicker. And not a good lap from Kubica, only 11th. So this is... So we're just having a look here at Robert Kubica. Scored the 2nd place in Brazil, and then scored an 8th place in Malaysia. So he's finished 2 races in the points, which is quite handy for Guy Racing. This is Nico Hulkenberg on his warm-up lap. Qualified that sensational 2nd place in Australia, but since then hasn't really got it together. And currently his teammate is actually leading the championship, despite that retirement in Malaysia. Lewis Hamilton 2nd, same points, and 3rd place is Bruno Senna for the LeBlanc, but LeBlanc not having a good time of it in last time round, suffering a double retirement as it were. Let's just have a look at Hulkenberg. So he's coming through the Aqua Minerale. He was only half a tenth behind Hamilton at the first section. In the 2nd sector he's up by half a tenth, so he's gained some time and he's in fact ahead at this moment. So what can he do in this final sector? Braking hard for Rivazza 1, lifting for Rivazza 2. It's coming up to some traffic, it's a Pedersen, but I'm not sure if that will hinder him, I don't think it will. Now let's see what this will do. Can Hulkenberg hold on to that 0.03 of a second advantage? He can, and he extends it by a tenth, so Hulkenberg on pole. And I would expect Buemi to go quickly as well. We just had a mid-season test at the Portimao circuit in Portugal, and we had Lucas de Grassi in the Guy Racing topping the first test, and then the next one we had Vitaly Petrov, Mitchell's test driver, topping that test. So it was a good test for Mitchell, Guy Racing and Pedersen. Kobayashi was third in both of those tests. PK goes 8th, so Andy Racing not looking too bad. Vettel 7th, Jensen Button goes 11th. Don't expect FJRs to be quite so nippy in qualifying. Expect their pace to come in the race. This is Suttle on a lap. And he lost a lot of time in that final sector. So Webber's up at the moment. What can he do? It's 16th, so LeBlanc looks like they're struggling again in qualifying. Not as much as Perez though. And Perez has been outshone by his teammate Vettel throughout the season so far. They're not seeming to be improving now. But let's see what Hamilton can do. So one thing we have established in the first 3 races is that a lot of the cars are very, very fragile. And only 4 drivers have finished all 3 races so far, and they have been Jarno Trulli, who scored 2 7th places, one in Brazil and one in Malaysia. Kamui Kobayashi has finished every race in points actually, 2 6th places, Australia and Malaysia, and an 8th in Brazil. That's a spectacular race in Brazil. And the other 2 have been Adrian Zal, who's got 2 5th places, one in Brazil, one in Malaysia, and Rosberg, 4th and 6th. Rosberg finishing every race this season so far. And a whopping 6 drivers have failed to finish any of the races, and they've been Sebastian Vettel, Adrian Suttle, Nelson Piquet Jr., so both Andy Racings are very unreliable, and not their fault, not the driver's fault of course, just reliability. And Glock has surprisingly failed to finish every race so far, and as a result they're not even leading the Constructors' Championship. That honour belongs to Mitchell. Webbers hasn't finished a race, and neither has Kimi Raikkonen in the Tornado. Let's see what Hamilton can do on this lap. He goes fastest by 0.3 of a second. So good lap from Lewis to get himself into provisional pole position. He suffered a loose wheel at the Malaysia, had to make a late pit stop. And that handed the victory to Fernando Alonso. In the unreliable Tornado, Buemi goes second, doesn't quite beat Hamilton. But what can Hulkenberg do? He's improving so far. He's got a toe from a Tornado. And Hulkenberg, oh, he just fails. He goes second though. Kubica on the lap now. Doesn't look like he'll beat Hamilton, but he'll move up the order to 14. And Glock fails to improve. Heikki Kovalainen, what can you do in the Dark Wolf? Good lap. And he goes 4th. Good lap from Kovalainen. And Zaug improves his time, but not position, so let's have a look at Jensen Button. Looks like he's around 2/10 up at the second sector point. He can improve up to 5th place. Good lap from Jensen. And Buemi's on a lap. Looks like he can trouble Hamilton's time at the top. Powering across the line in the Mitchell. And Buemi goes fastest! Sebastian Buemi on provisional pole. Is Hamilton able to respond? Well, we'll have a look at Alonso, race winner of Malaysia. Doesn't look like he'll get pole position this time. He goes 8th. He's in the top 10, and he backs off. That looks like it's his last lap. Now Hamilton, can you beat Sebastian Buemi? You're coming out of the final chicane, and you're crossing the line. He hasn't done it, he hasn't improved there. Looks like it's Buemi's for the taking. Hamilton's teammate. had that ridiculous shunt in Malaysia. He goes 6th, that's a good effort, considering what kind of a season he's had. Caused an accident at the first corner when he swerved right into the path of Barrichello. Barrichello actually managed to continue from that, but eventually spinning out of the race. Maybe the damage was too much for his car. And caused a spin. Hulkenberg, he does it! He goes fastest! Nico Hulkenberg beats Hamilton by 3/4 of a tenth of a second. That's how fine these margins are. So Hulkenberg and Buemi on pole position. 1-2 for Mitchell. It's looking good for them. That test has really improved the car. Hamilton 3rd from Kovalainen 4th. He's been a good qualifier so far this season. And Jenson Button, the man who finished 2nd in Malaysia, comes 5th ahead of Glock. He needs to get his season back on track. Alonso, Rosberg, Suttil and Vettel complete the top 10.